Hey, this is Patchy from InfinitySys.com, and I'm just going to show you a video on how to DNS spoof a web server that hosts multiple websites on it. The first thing you want to do when you're doing a DNS spoofing attack is get the IP address of the website you want to spoof. And you just do that with an NS lookup. Alright, once you have the IP address of the web server, all you need to do is go to EtherCap's DNS config and add an entry into it. In backcheck 3, it's located in user, local, share, EtherCap. Alright, I'm just going to add another entry into the DNS config. I'm just going to do asterisk A and then IP address of the web server that InfinitySys is hosted on. This is what this will do is whenever someone makes a request for the IP address of a website, EtherCap will return a response with this IP address. Now I'm just going to open up EtherCap, start on a normal sniff. And enable DNS spoofing. And what you expect to happen when you open up a browser and go to a website, you would expect to be redirected to InfinitySys.com. However, that is not the case. As you can see right here, it pops up with the site temporarily unavailable. And as you can see, the DNS spoof did work properly. What's going on here is the web server that hosts InfinitySys.com also hosts many other websites, and you can just do a whois lookup on the web server, and you can just see how many other websites are being hosted. Just put in the IP address, push go. Alright. And you can see there's like 21 other websites on the same web server as InfinitySys.com. So the IP address is not enough to determine which website you're trying to go to. But how does a web server determine which website you're trying to access when you go to a site? And to figure this out, we just open up Wireshark and we can view the GET statements as they go across the wire. I'm just going to filter out all of the traffic besides HTTP, and then I'm going to make a request for a website. And you just right-click on it and follow the stream. As you can see in the GET request, there's a host header that includes which website you're going to. This informs the web server which virtual host you're trying to access. And if we look at the GET request of one we just put in the IP address, you can see in the host header it doesn't have enough information for the website to determine where you're trying to go. With the web server that InfinitySys is hosted on, it returns an error message. Some websites will just return a default website. Anyways, so we need to make some kind of script that will change this host header. And what I did is I used a combination of a EtherCap filter and a C program to do this process. And this is what the EtherCap filter looks like. First it checks if the packet is TCP, then it checks the destination port to see if it's 80, that's what most web servers are hosted on. And then it checks if the destination IP address is the IP address of the web server that InfinitySys is being hosted on. And then it searches that packet for the host header. If it has that host header, it checks to see if the host header is already set to InfinitySys.com. If it is, there's no reason to change it, and we don't do anything here. If not, we log the packet, drop it so it doesn't get sent to the web server, and then we execute this C program I made to change that header, and then create a new packet, and then that new packet is injected. Alright, here's the C program that I wrote. Basically what it does is it takes in 3 inputs. It takes in the packet file, the output file that you want to save it to, and then the host that you want to change the host header to. Basically it'll read through the packet, find the host header, change it, and then save it in the output file, so that EtherCap can inject that packet. With these 2 scripts combined, it will change the host header to the correct form. And I'm just going to use GCC to compile the C program, and EtherFilter to compile the EtherCap filter. And they both were compiled correctly. Alright, I'm just going to open up EtherCap here. I'm going to start sniffing on my wireless network card. I'm going to scan for hosts. I guess the victim computer is not on the network right now. Hold on a second. Alright, there we go. Now I'm going to add the victim to target 1 and then the default gateway to target 2. That way I can do a one-way poison, because we only need to get packets that are sent from the victim to the remote host, to the web server. Just going to start sniffing. I'm going to start the DNS spoof. And EtherCap is still configured to take all DNS requests and return the IP address of the web server that Infinis is on. And then we want to load our filter. Alright. And now we can switch over to our victim computer and see if it worked. Alright, I must mention that you need a halfway decent computer to do this, because your computer has to be able to sniff the packets, analyze the packets, save that packet, and then manipulate it, and then re-inject it, all in a matter of milliseconds. So you need a pretty decent computer to be able to do this. And we'll just go to Google. And there you go, it worked. It sent us to infinitus.com, and that's exactly what we wanted to do. And this should work for all websites. We'll just try Millworm here. Alright, there you go. That is how you do DNS spoofing with a web server that hosts multiple hosts on it.